after 15 years of working in commercial graphic design, branding and advertising, if you ask me, being the underdog is the best position to be in. So if you need to sharpen your edge in the market with a little bit of underdog energy, then these are your next 5 moves. Okay, so your first move is pick a fight with a legacy Goliath. It doesn't matter what or who you choose, so long as it's a legacy format that would be perceived as being old, traditional, maybe slow moving, hard to pivot, that kind of thing. You want to look for people, ideas, spaces, legacy Goliaths that you can basically pick a fight with and say, I can do it better, faster, cheaper, I can be more impressive, I can do it more modernized, sidestep that bit, cut that out of it, I can get rid of all this waffle, look at all that bureaucracy over there, you want to work with humans, all that kind of thing. Let's say like Adobe is a big monster behemoth, all these little unbundled pieces of software that are coming in and just taking that market share and being like, oh, we'll do this for $8, $8, $8, $8. That's the kind of thing you want to do. Which means if you want to find that, you need to understand your market, you need to understand where you're positioned and where your kind of positions of leverage are, what you're good at, where your competence play is, and where you can be slightly aggressive in the market to get what you need. Obsess over that one thing and then pick a fight. Okay, so next move would be to increase speed with efficiency, not just rapidity. Now look, it's easy if you can go really, really, really fast in some kind of kamikaze like mad dash. Anybody can just put their foot down on an accelerator and go 120 on the motorway. But when you turn into a corner, or when you have to go into a slalom, or when you have to race people, or if there's other people on the tracks, suddenly now just having speed isn't the best thing. You have to be able to brake efficiently, you have to be able to accelerate efficiently, you have to be able to make sure that the fuel, aka whether that's creative fuel or money in terms of a churn and burn rate, like you want to make sure that you are efficient in what you're doing. So basically list out your entire process and then go from like end to end, so from click to close, or from like deal sign to fulfillment, and just whatever you do, how do you fulfill that? How does your competitor, how does your Goliath do it? And where can you shrink that? Where can you cut that bit out? Where can you optimize that bit? So you want to be efficient. For example, the easiest one is cut out the meetings. So, some of the best Amazons and Teslas of the world, if there's not a clearly defined agenda for the meeting, then we don't need to have one. Often you don't have to actually be faster in the main core of the thing. You just have to find those little gaps that you can remove to either allow you to spend longer in the creative or longer in the endeavor or the fulfillment process, rather than messing around with the bits that just steer your attention away. So go through everything, see which bits you can cut out. You don't just want to go fast all the time. 1, you'll burn out. 2, the work will be a bit shit because you won't, and it'll be unsustainable. Like you won't be able to keep delivering that, and it will get messy. Whereas if you're fast because of efficiency, rather than just putting your foot on the accelerator and hurtling into a brick wall, there's a difference. It's up to you to find out what the balance is, but it's about efficiency, not rapidity. Okay, next one, reduce time to value to seconds. Now, this can be achieved with lead magnets or content or videos or anything in your ecosystem that people can just get upfront value. If they download something, they want to be, within the first minute, you just want to get to the value first. So the easiest way to do that is if you think about your fulfillment process or who your ICP or client is, some of the problems they're going through, they're going to go through it in quite a systematic way. So they might, before, say they need a brand, they might need to have a name. So before they ever need a name, they might need to understand the market. So you can like break that up. So when you're selling this little bit, it's exactly what they need on their journey. So then they're like, oh God, this is exactly it. Instead, rather than if you put that in, say, chapter 7 of a big brand identity book, they would be like, oh God, yeah, this is too much, this is too deep, or I've already got all this. So it's important to understand almost your customer journey, but where your customer is at, and that activation point where suddenly they enter your ecosystem, and then solve for that, and then just have a cascading ever kind of, now you've done that, what about this? Now you've done that, what about this? Now you've done that, what about this? Kind of mentality throughout all of your work. And just, it's easier to do that than try and create the one perfect lead magnet or the one perfect piece of content. Little bite-sized chunks in a curated way is the easiest way to reduce value down to seconds. Nice and easy on that. Okay, next one, prototype in public. Now, this is a big one, especially at Sprint Department. Like, we really care about iterating, like prototyping, getting things out, kind of showing how the sausage is made, but not in a way that is a turn off. You're kind of showing the innovation. So if you're talking about the legacy model, going back to that Goliath, This is the problem. We then did that. Or we spent X amount of hours trying to reduce this down to this one bit. So you're sort of bringing them on that journey. But also V1 is going to be slightly shit anyway. If you're the underdog, you're clearly either bootstrapping or you're going on a new venture or you have a new thing. Like the underdog scrappy energy, that is actually your leverage, because the people who are staying at the enterprise level, they're not going to come, they're not going to go. Like if you're if you're a brand consultant, if you're a designer, if you're building stuff, if you're a vibe coder, the leverage for you is to be like, yeah, well, you'll be dealing with a junior and a project manager, and the creative director will look at it once and it'll be faceless and there'll be loads of all this bureaucracy and there'll be loads of red tape, blah, blah, blah. With me, I'm here all the time, baby. I'm here 8 hours a day. I'll talk to you. I'm rapid, bring that response rate down, beat everything that they do, and then talk about that process. So like when you work with a client, okay, so we did that, and then we did this, this, and this, and this, and this. And then we learned for on the next one, or after 10 clients, we realized that this bit was unnecessary. When we asked him feedback, what would you keep? What would you get rid of? What did you get the most value out of? What did you get the least value out of? And then you have this lovely iteration, and people will go on that journey. It's sort of like an ecosystem, almost kind of, they are nurturing in your pipeline, but they might not have given you an email or whatever, but people do bounce around. They do search. Think about the last payment, big thing you bought. Like you probably went in the comments, you probably did this, you probably did that, you probably looked on the forums, you probably watched a load of YouTube videos. It was a bit more erratic because it's not so linear from like top down anymore. People want to spend time with it. There's not a lot of trust, let's say. So people want to really work out if you or the product you're selling or the service you're offering is the one for them, and if you're the real deal. So prototyping is a great way to do that, especially if you're an underdog, because people sometimes just want to work with underdogs, like early adopters, like the 1,000 true superfans, like they almost seek out that kind of underdog energy. So that's your leverage point. Okay, next one. Iterate till you dominate. Now, I love this one so much. This is pretty much our playbook at Sprint Department. Like we launched, our first website was, just viable. We just basically had what we did and a book a call button and prices. And since then, we've got case studies built in. We've got a little health check thing. We've got a VSL of our workshop. You can go and look at some of our stuff. You can look at our testimonials. Like we iterated on that. But first, we had to get live and rely on some of our consulting portfolios to get work. And now we've worked with people. Now we have stuff that we can, talk about, and now people can go on it. But if we tried to wait for all of that, we might not be able to get anything that we might not be able to do what we need to do. So iterate until you dominate. Also, the great thing is if you're constantly like, okay, then you can look at that and look over there and be like, okay, they did that, I can move away from that. Or, oh God, we're going like this, same way, I need to pivot. They're too expensive. Maybe I can undercut them. Like a bit of pricing strategy, bit of positioning strategy. They'll be guaranteed, if you're an underdog, there will be another underdog. And there's, plenty of space. Competition is good for business. It knows there's demand, but you need to work out like, where are you in that market? If they're all about, let's say if they say, oh, we're all about magic, then you're about process and predictability. If they're all about yellow, you're all about purple. You want to position yourself effectively so that story you tell, you can then iterate on that. But naturally, the great thing is you can, so our first strap line or call to action, let's say, was start strong with a sprint finish. Or start strong with your sprint finish, or start strong with our sprint finish. And then we're like, no, that's kind of like starting strong. Some people aren't starting. Some people we typically work with Series A, but actually some people from seed round that are doing another launch that want to work with people are coming in. So now the thing we're testing is every business needs a sprint department. We want to be yours. For us, we really believe in that little department over here that's ticking away, going, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And that felt more aligned, and it's a lot easier for us to tell that story, especially in calls and discoveries and stuff, because people are like, oh yeah, shit. Yeah, we don't have a design team. It'd be really great. And it's like, yeah, well, that's what we do. We fit that gap, rather than like, start strong with a sprint finish. It's a cute line. Classic Tristan writing classic lines, but does it really solve the problem? So iterating, don't be afraid to kill your darlings, all that kind of stuff. Iterate until you dominate, and we will dominate.